Hey guys, so Facebook is being super weird today, but we are going to try this anyway. I have the last couple of cards that I was going to remake from the True North bundle. So let me just finish here. So I've shown you before. So this is the True North bundle that you can purchase it, the stamp set separately, or you can purchase it as part of a bundle. With the bundle is where you incur the savings. So, but there is a workshop designed to go along with the stamp set and as part of the bundle. Wow, it looks really dark here today. I'm not really sure what that's about, but so we'll just blame it on Facebook being super weird today, and we'll go with that. So I thought I would come on and remake the last couple of cards that I hadn't done yet, because this morning I cut up the Hello Pumpkin Deluxe Workshop and we're going to play around with that a little bit soon. So I thought we should probably get going on this one. Okay, I just had to make sure my volume was off. Okay, so we have now made all of the layouts, so I thought I'd just quickly show you those. So the first one I did, we did it exactly the same as in the instructions. So it's to mimic the Canadian flag, but it's super cute and it's way cuter in person. It's got the stamping down the side and the tone-on-tone stamping on the page, and it just needs the photographs on it. So there's that one. And then next I did these two pages separately, but I have done them both. And so for these ones I added texture paste with re-inker and the red shimmer from the red shimmer brush in it. So I mixed this with the texture paste and I put it through one of the stencils that I cut from Art Booking and added it to the page. And it's pretty much the same way other than the extra texture, and it's beautiful in real life. So that's this one. Did that one. And then on Sunday I redid this one. So this is the hockey one, and what I did with this one is I added espresso re-inker to a spray brush and sprayed it on the background, and then I added the gold shimmer brush on it too. And so these turned out super cute. So when I did that, we actually sprayed the base to do it as a demo, because I wanted this to be dry before I started to assemble the pages. I cut up a piece of 4 1/4 by 11 almond cardstock, which is the same as this background, and that's how I showed you the technique. So on here it's sprayed with the espresso, and then I flicked on the gold shimmer brush. So we're going to turn this one into a card today. So the other part of the workshop on top of the layouts is there's 4 cards, and I've shown you this lots of times before, but so when you purchase the bundle, make sure to go in and print off the workshop and then have some fun with it. So we are going to, I'm just going to show you the cards that the workshop created. So this is one of the cards, and then this is one of the cards, and this is one of the cards. And down here, this is the last card. So these I made exactly how they are, exactly how the directions tell you to do. So I'm going to take this card base that I created on Sunday, and we're going to rework this card. So when I was remixing the cards, we just had some fun with some of them. So let's see, for this one, this was one of the remakes. It was kind of exactly like the pattern. I left the same. I left the stamp set the same. We just swapped out the colors, and then we added a shaker element to it. And then this one, I took the same pattern and I switched out the stamp set and added the shaker element to it. So that was one of the remakes. All the videos are down farther on my business page here if you wanted to watch them. And then for this one, which I love with the vellum, so the vellum just kind of gives it a really super delicate, muted kind of look. So on this one, it's stamped with 1st and 2nd generation espresso ink. So we did that same thing on this card, and I just added the shaker element to the front, and we attached the little leaves on here on the edge of the shaker. And then we switched up the stamp set, and I did the same technique and just switched out the stamp set. So this is the stamp set from the Grateful Heart card making stamp set, and so that's how we switched out that one. And so today we're going to remake this one. So like I said, I took the almond cardstock and it's sprayed with espresso ink in rubbing alcohol in a spray pen. So it looks just like this, and I just sprayed it a couple times and let it dry. So our spray pens, you can do lots of different things with them. You can add, like I did with this one, add the alcohol and a little bit of re-inker, or you can add water and re-inker. You can use just spray water if you want with your watercolors. They come in a 3-pack and they're super handy. You can clean it out. I just haven't cleaned this one out yet because we were still doing this. So that's just sitting off to the side of my desk. So I thought we would try to change this card up like this one. So I have grabbed the shaker elements, and I think that's what we're going to do to this one. And I did a little bit of a fun thing on the inside too. But first we're going to play with the front of this card like this. So I'm going to, I think, put in here, I think I'm going to stamp the maple syrup container first. So that is right here. And I think what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to grab, so this is just the littler pad from the Fiskars. There's the Fiskars mat, and then there's a stylus that goes with it, and just because it fits a little bit better on camera. So there's a stamping, like a foam on the back, and you could stamp on it just like a Versamat. Just I don't have a lot of room in the camera space, so I thought we would. So I think what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to use the same sentiment. Let's just see how this will fit in here. So I thought I might add this in the middle in 2nd generation espresso, and then add this, the same sentiment over top, or maybe I could just do it underneath. I just want to be careful because I want the ring to fit around the outside. So like I said earlier, I took all the stamps and cut them up. Because to make them, it's telling you to just mask off parts of it, and so maybe I should actually do this first. So because I know I want to add the shaker element, I'm going to just leave this on here so that I know approximately where I need to stamp to get it into to be in the middle of the shaker. So for this, I'm just going to use the Black Intense ink. It doesn't have to be the Black Intense ink. It can be, I just wanted there to be a color difference between I wanted it darker than the espresso. Oh, sorry. I hit that with my hand. I hope I didn't make anybody dizzy. Okay, so there's that one. So yeah, like I said, I just took my scissors and I cut them up, and because they're super easy to line back up again. And because the blocks are clear and the stamps are clear, you can see exactly where you're stamping. Okay. So I think I'm going to do it second generation, so not as dark as this espresso. So I'm just going to get a little scratch piece of paper. Yeah, so I'm not really sure what's going on with Facebook and Instagram today, but they're both acting super weird. So hopefully, at least, if you're not seeing it live, because Facebook didn't seem to, hasn't really wanted to reload all day. So I'm just going to stamp it, try and aim for the middle. So that's not bad. Probably not dead center, but you kind of get the idea. So I probably could have slightly brought it down, but that's okay once everything's in there. So there too, you got to see me do second generation ink, which runs throughout this workshop. So now you know what they're saying when they say it. So I could actually use these, but I'm just going to put them aside for right this second. And we're just going to turn this into, maybe I'm just going to set this aside. And I'll add the other pieces onto the card first. So for this technique, what they have you do, maybe I will do it. I wasn't going to, but I think maybe I will. What they have you do is you take your water brush and your espresso ink, and you just pick up a little bit of the ink off the top of the lid, and you're just going to run it down your vellum to create this stripe, like so. So like I said, this is exactly what they have you do in the workshop, kind of. We're just changing the background up, and we're going to add a shaker onto this one. So these have been super fun to rework. And like I said, I've cut up the Hello Pumpkin Deluxe Workshop, and we'll see what we could do with that. So I also have just finished the Oh What Fun workshop, and it is super cute. That will be coming soon. I'm just going to set that aside. And this is the little zip strip that we're going to add on here. I'm just going to trim off this little part. Just while that vellum dries for a second. And I'm just going to trim off the dovetail. So I'm just going to trim up to the middle and then in from each side. Just like that. And for these two pieces, this is probably dry enough. I'm going to cut them together at the same time so that the dovetail is the same. So I'm just again going to cut up from the middle and then in from each side. Like so. Okay, so it just kind of gives the candy apple a little bit more of a muted look underneath. Okay, and so here's the background that I created the other day. So this is just the almond cardstock, and I'm just going to adhere it to the card base. Just about here, probably. And I'm going to add the vellum over top. And a little zip strip. Okay, and now I'm gonna add the shaker piece on here first. Right there. Okay, and then so I have the foam piece. So we sell those. Sorry, I'm just looking for my piercing tool. Oh, here we go. So these come in a package, all the parts to make the shaker cards. So there's foam, this is the foam to pop up your shaker so that it's off the background. So I'm just going to take my piercing tool and run it along the edge to break up the little connections that it has to the foam squares in the middle. And remember to save those to use. And now I just pull mine off the backing gently. You don't want to try, you want to remove it so that you're not really warping your circle. I try and keep it as round as possible. If you tug on it, you're gonna like warp the foam a little bit. So I'll just put those extra pieces over there. I just put my finger along the edge of the circle. So I use the thin cuts to cut out the parts for the shaker card. So it cuts out the base, and then I cut out confetti in the same colors as the workshop, and then it cuts out the mat to hide the foam. So I'm just going to grab my anti-static tool that's behind me. And my sequins. So I'm just going to rub this on the inside because now all the ink is dry. And I have these sitting here. So these are just, I use them because there's a plate on the inside of the thin cuts that you can cut confetti out with. So these are hearts, and then the other shape is the stars. So this, because we're getting to the end here. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of sparkle in here too. So in the mix, there's silver, like a shiny silver, a more matted silver, and then there's white, and then there's some clear, and there's the sequins, and there's stars, and then there's different sizes in the mix. So you've got lots of variety in there. So, oops, I'll get them all inside the card. So the fun thing is this is going to be a top folding card just because of the way that I cut it. So it's just kind of nice for a little bit of a difference. Okay. There we go. There's not too many people popping on, so I'm assuming that Facebook is being funny for everybody today. But like I said, the video will be there, and I'll also upload it to YouTube. So I'm just going to use my piercing tool, and I'll just pull off the backing. And then don't forget, on all the clear pieces of acetate, there is a protective cover so it doesn't get scratched. So you just want to remove that before you stick it down. And voila. Oops. Okay. So now I have, there's the other one, a ring that I cut from Candy Apple. Don't worry. It's far better than it actually sounds. So I'm just going to add some liquid glue around the outside of the ring. Okay. Just with the liquid adhesive, you have a little bit of, you can slightly move it if you had to. But once it's dry, it sticks like crazy. So I'm just going to push it down into place. So there. So that's how the front looks now. So then I thought, just going to give that a second to dry. So I'm going to put a little sentiment on the inside, and you guys will see what this is for in a second. So I pulled out from the October campaign, there was a stamp set that went with the shaker cards, and I lost my first one, so this is another one. But I thought that we would stamp with lots of love on the inside of this card. So I'm just going to create like a liner. So just, it's 1/4 of an inch smaller than the card base. And I'm just gonna put that on the inside. So I've loaded it onto my block, and now I've never used this stamp before, so I'm just going to season it, they call it. So I'm just going to rub it on my skin. Like I said, there's lots of different ways that people do this too. So I'm just going to now test it on our same scrap piece of paper. I have just taken to using the Intense ink basically on everything these days. So, ink it up. And I'll just make sure that we're all good before I stamp it. And I've cut a little strip that I want to put right at the bottom. So I'm going to put it about 2/3 of the way up. Okay, I'm just going to give that a second to dry. Okay, so I will adhere this to the bottom of this liner. And I'm just going to trim off that side. And just going to add some pen around the outside. So it's always fun to use the workshop, but maybe switch it up a little bit to suit your purposes. So I think that with this series, I've kind of showed you that just because one thing is meant for one thing doesn't necessarily mean that's what you have to use it for. So I'm going to just, so I've got the Candy Apple Red and my water brush again. And I'm just going to paint in the love. So I've just picked up a little bit of the ink. And I'm just going to paint in the word. So you could also use markers or watercolor pencil crayons, but because I already have the inks out, this is perfect. It totally matches. It gives you kind of the same kind of watercolor feeling. It does take a while because the water brush doesn't hold a ton of ink, but it dries very quickly, so that is good. And this way you always have the exact same color to match all your inks. And I thought because we use it on the vellum, it might be fun to just use this on the inside. Okay, almost finished. Okay. So this I'm going to put on the inside, but I want to show you what I did here. So for the top part, I wanted to create a gift card holder to go on the top part. So I've just cut a piece of paper that's a couple of inches, about 3 inches by, I think it's by, so this one is 4 inches wide. So this is probably 3 3/4. And this is probably 2.5. And I added the band on. This is about 3/4 of the width wide. And then I wanted a little tab on there. So I grabbed the thing, cut the fancy tags, and I used this one. So I just wanted to create like a little notch to slide the gift card in. So when I put it in the Cuttlebug, and I just laid it across part way so that it would just cut the little notch part. I didn't want the full piece cut because that was too big. I just wanted a little notch to be able to slide it in. And then I've just added adhesive around the outside of the pocket. So this now just slides in there like that. And we will add the liner. Thinking maybe I need to do a little doodle around the outside there too, but we'll add this liner in first. There we go. I'll just take my pen. I'll just make the top. I should have probably done this before because now the shaker element is back there. So it's got a big bulge in the middle. So there we go. So from this one to this one. So that was my remix for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Here are the 2 cards. So here's the original, and then here's our remix. So with the shaker that says, "I love you more than maple syrup." And then on the inside, we have a cute little gift card holder and the stamp set from the October campaign, which was called Love with All the Trimmings. And it's still available on the website to order. And the sentiments in this stamp set are awesome. So I hope you guys have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye bye.